I will fence it into little pieces and turn the cows into it.
And when are the cows going to go in?
This this piece here we're gonna try in October, and the other piece we'll do in the winter time,
Okay.
just to try something different.
Okay. And you have winter graze cocktails before, eh?
Yeah, we did last year, or
Yeah.
the last couple of years. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you just graze this standing or
Just-
swath it?
Yeah. No. We'll. Yeah. No. I'm not going to swath it at all anymore. It'll all be straight standing now.
Okay. And the cows seem to utilize it well, and you're happy with the utilization of ground cover?
Yeah. I couldn't be any happier. They're out there in January rooting through 2 feet of snow and pulling up big mouths of green feed. And, we left the calves on them last winter, and they looked really, really good. Yeah, well, when we've got a cow nursing a 600-pound calf in January and it's 35 below and they're getting fat, there's some good feed value in it.
I cut it and silage it, and then my swath grazing, I just swath it and leave it for the cows. Yes, the feed tests have all come back higher than what it used to. I think we've sampled our silage before when we were just cereals, and it didn't have the stuff in it like we got now with the cocktail.
Primarily the methods we use would be silaging, cutting with a discbine, and typically baling it and wrapping the bales for silage. That worked really well. Or grazing. Grazing is another method that we've used for harvest.
So there, I would say 90% or 95% of it is forage harvested, like chopped into silage. And the other 5% sometimes we'll fall graze it with the cattle. You might swath it, make them eat it in a swath, or we leave it standing and turn the cows out in the late fall and they graze that until the snow is too deep, or they eat it up. Absolutely. So the big thing that we used to run into was protein. It was expensive and it's hard to get your protein. And when we went to the cocktails, we ran into the opposite problem. We had too much protein and not enough energy. So trying to find that balance again has been a bit of a challenge, but we feel like we're very close, and the feed analysis is very exceptional, but to get the balance of energy and protein is a little bit of a thing, because your legumes produce a lot of protein, but protein without energy is kind of useless for a cow. They can't utilize it.
I've did all of the above. I've cut it with a haybine and wrapped it, bale wrapped it, was very liked it. One advantage that we did find with growing the hairy vetch, for example, is we could allow our grains to get more mature, which provides us more energy in our ration, because the hairy vetch was greener and later and higher in protein. So the combination of the two made a really good ration. So that's one of the advantages of the cocktail that we've seen. And then yield. I mean, it'll yield you 4 or 5 bales to the acre if everything is, if it's seeded early and everything works out and get the moisture you need, and without any inputs. You don't necessarily need inputs to get the yield. And it's unlike, when you get a high yield of, say, barley silage, the quality of that tends to stall out because of the straw versus the grain. So with a cocktail mix, it doesn't stall out. It just seems to get better. So that's one advantage. And so we've swath grazed, we've grazed, and we've silaged it, and we've dry baled it. So we've done everything, and just whatever it takes to get it off.
Yeah. Any equipment considerations when it comes to harvesting? Anything that works really well? Anything you wouldn't recommend anyone do ever? Any issues swathing hairy vetch, for example?
Well, swathing hairy vetch can be challenging. It depends what's with it. If there's something underneath it that will pull it off of the canvases, then you can just lift your reel up and just push it through. And but if there isn't enough material, yeah, it can be a real challenge. then you can go with a disc bind, which we've done. And we had a crop one time that was barley and oats and brassicas, and then on top, then the hairy vetch came through and totally canopied the whole thing. And when we went through that with the disc bind, we were worried that we were going to shell all our grains, but actually the hairy vetch encased it and protected it, and we didn't really shell that much, and it all ended up in the bales. So we were quite happy with that.
Overall, like I said, I don't have a lot of experience with it, but I had good results, good feed quality in what I harvested last year. Of course, this year the only harvesting we've done yet is grazing, and so far it's been good quality. Haven't done any tests on it this year on the grazing, but the cattle, the performance is good. As far as compared to just perennial forages, or if there's a difference, I would say it's similar, if not better. And I guess the benefit is, it matures and is available kind of at a different time, especially for the grazing. Your perennials, typically their window is earlier, and then these annuals, you can kind of fill that gap. Works well in the grazing scheme of things.